So now I want to bring your attention to this major slide, which sort of summarizes all these options and helps you to decide which one do you want to choose. So what you see on the bottom here is the cost to the university. So as you go from left to right, there is cost to the university increases. So option A is least expensive, option B is slightly more expensive, and option C is the most expensive of the three options that have been proposed. On the bottom row, you look at the integrated plan structures that we discussed. The first one is option A, the next one is option B. On the top row, you look at the current structure, which is what we have right now, and on the rightmost side is this current plan, which is 2.5% age factor, and we have all these additional features. What the dissenting opinion has done, they are saying, well, take away all these features, but at least give us 2.5% age factor, and that also not at the age of 60, but at the age of 65. So that one is 2.5%, but it costs university 15.1%. And I am going to talk about option B2, which is a new option that we have constructed in a minute. But first I want to make sure that you have a good understanding of where option A, B and C are. So this is option A 11.9, option B 13.8 and option C 15.1. The PEB task force is recommending option A and B. The dissenting opinion is saying reject option A, accept either option B or option C. And President Yudof and Provost Pitts are saying that option C is not acceptable. So given that scenario, we are somewhere in this range, which is option B. But on the basis of what we have already showed you, option B is not a good plan for almost all staff and overwhelming majority of the faculty. So what we have constructed is this new option B2, which is actually slightly less expensive to the university. So the age factor here is not 2.5, but 10% less, an age factor of 2.25. The employer contribution remains the same, but long term cost to the university is the same. So option B and option B2 you can compare. You are comparing apples with apples, and they are vertically stacked. So between option B and option B2, the university couldn't say that we are saving more in option B2 or in option B. So what we are going to suggest is that option B2 is an option that you should look at it carefully. It's equitable and it's low risk and it's certain, in comparison to option B, which is high risk and high uncertainty, and it's inequitable. And the numbers here are on the blue are these benefit numbers that I discussed earlier. The green is the employer contribution or the UC contribution, which is the same in option B and B2, and the red ones are the employee contribution. So in difference between option B2 and option C is the employer contribution is the same, but you are paying 1.2% extra to get this age factor of additional 0.25. So to summarize all of this, this is the summary of all the PEB recommendations, and I am just going to skip over this slide because in the interest of time. This is the dissenting opinion. Dissenting opinion essentially agrees with most of these recommendations here with a tick mark on them. They emphasize that people who want to continue with the current plan should not be asked to pay more than 7%, and they are saying reject option A, which is a broad consensus for most staff and employees together, because it's highly uncompetitive and will reduce the benefit significantly. They have suggested option C, but as I said, it has not been accepted by the university, and their basic position is that B and C are somewhat about the similar, and that's a position that we are actually challenging, because B is not similar to C in our view. So again, to summarize, it is a no-brainer, or it's quite clear that C is better than B and B is better than A for most of us. So to say that we accept C over B or we accept B over A is obvious. Similarly, from a university's perspective, C is more expensive than B and B is more expensive than A. So they will say in A we must save most money, and B we save less money, and C we can't save enough money, so C is not acceptable. So that also is a no-brainer. So university, as I said already, has opposed option C. So when you are really comparing the options, one should compare option B with option B2, because there you are comparing apples with apples. So the key question that we are posing to you is that, do you want the integrated plan options, which is option A and B here in the bottom row, or you want a different structure, which is the UCRP pension plan structure, which is option B2 and option C. If you say you want an option C, then you run the risk that university says we don't want this, and they will push you into option B here. So that's why we are asking you to consider this option B2 very seriously, because that is something that the university is likely to accept because it has the same cost as option B. In an overview, option C is already a 10% reduction from our benefits because of the removal of the features. B and B2 are about 20% reduction from our benefits, although in option B the 20% reduction is not uniformly distributed. So 30% reduction for most of the staff and middle income faculty, and option A is a 30% reduction overall, and again that is non-uniformly distributed, where staff will see reduction of 50% and 40 to 30% for a lot of middle income faculty as well. So this is my last slide really here. There are many other issues that are important to the PEB recommendations, which we have not been able to touch in, but those are very critical. One is related to the funding. UC is saying that they are going to fund these plans starting fully to 20% in about 5 to 7 years from now. Why should they delay it? Because they will lose the additional dollars. They are also building new buildings. Can some of that money be deferred and reduce the cost on the operating budgets? In the same report, there are proposals to increase the benefits of super high income employees, and can that money be utilized to fund our UCRP slightly better? Also, there are issues of process. Why are being so pushed hurriedly to make a decision on it, particularly on such complex plans which cannot be explained or understood by people in such a short period of time? And there are these very, very important other changes in benefits. And if I have to single out, I will say retiree health benefit cuts. There is not enough information as to how it will impact retiree health. The numbers are given in percentages, but it has not been provided us in the dollar amounts, which is a minimum information we need in order to make provide wise input. And also, we are quite sad about the reduction in the survivor pension benefits. So for single income families or families where because the female life expectancy rates are higher, and they live much longer in general than males, they are going to be hit by the survivor pension benefits reduction. The key takeaway I want to communicate is that integrated plans are highly risky, they are uncertain, they are complex, and they are inequitable. They are highly risky because SSCC, SSWB, we don't know how they are going to behave, we don't know how our salaries are going to rise, and it will be very difficult for us to decide when we want to retire, depending upon whether you get towards the end of your retirement some salary raises or how SSCC is going to behave. Your retirement pension incomes can be significantly impacted. It can happen, it's a weird thing, but it can happen that if you stay one more year with the university, your pension income may actually decrease with integrated plan options A and B because of the deterioration of age factor with time, which could never happen in the current plan. And in the flat plans, which we are used to, even though it is a significant benefit cuts, because we retain the same structure, they are low risk, they are certain, they are simple, and they are equitable. So the key takeaway is that we are recommending that you reject integrated plan structure, which are options A and B, and then we retain the flat or uniform plan structure, which is similar to our current options. Option C is acceptable, but if the university continues to insist that option C is expensive and they try to push us towards option B, which is an integrated plan, then we must ask the university and ask the employees to consider option B2, which employer cost is exactly the same, which is 9.0%, and the long-term cost is also exactly the same, which is 13.8%. And the flat plans are much better, much more certain, much lower risk, simple and equitable. So B2 is definitely better than B. And so I recommend that we stay away from integrated plans A and B. Thank you very much.